In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to get set up within GoHighLevel. Okay, so we're going to be talking about sub accounts, not the agency level, how to actually get set up within a sub account. I'm going to timestamp everything that we're going to go through so you can go ahead and skip to the part that you want to get to or that you need to get to, or you can go through start to finish. But in this video, we're going to be talking about firstly how to go in and add your business information. Then we're going to go ahead and add any team members that we need to add within our account. I'm then going to show you how to connect your domain to GoHighLevel, to that account, so you can start hosting websites, funnels, etc. Then how to create your email dedicated domain. So you want to create an email dedicated domain. Then we're going to go ahead and connect your calendar such that you can take calls and it can check for your availability. Then we're going to link your email. So I'm going to show you how to link your email so you can do two-way sync and what that means. Then also how to connect a payment gateway. So I'm going to take you through all of those things. I'm going to timestamp them right here on the side so you can go ahead and see and you can skip to which part you need to. But if you're ready to hop into it, let's go ahead. Okay, so just before we hop into the video, I just want to let you know, if you do find these videos helpful and you would benefit from being able to hop on drop-in calls with other people like yourself who are coaches or consultants or therapists, just trying to get some support building out their GoHighLevel stuff and systems, then feel free to book a call with me down below. I love networking, meeting new people, seeing where you're at, seeing where we could potentially work together and help each other. Even if you're someone who just wants your whole system built out, or if you're someone who just needs a little bit of extra support, we are really trying to help people. So feel free to book a call below. If you're just here for the video though, enjoy it. I hope you find it valuable and good luck building out your systems. Okay, so when you first come into your account, it's going to take you probably to the launch pad within GoHighLevel. In my own agency and what we offer to our community is this 14-day bootcamp, which is basically how to get set up within GoHighLevel from your email marketing, automations, website, lead magnets, campaigns, all of that within 14 days. So you wouldn't see this inside GoHighLevel, but you'll probably be put on some sort of launch pad. What I want to show you now is the first thing that you're going to want to do. Now, before you actually touch anything, you want to make sure, because this is going to depend on if you're using your own GoHighLevel agency or if you're within someone else's agency, you want to make sure that you are actually a staff member within this sub account that you're working on. So right now, if I go into settings and my staff, I'm not going to actually be inside this yet because I am not a user inside this account yet. So if you are the agency owner, so you actually own the GoHighLevel account, what you're going to want to make sure is that you go ahead and add yourself into the sub account. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm actually going to switch to agency view. I'm going to go and find myself and I'm going to go ahead and add myself into that account. So I'm going to go into settings. So this is within the agency view here. I'm going to go into team. I'm going to find myself here. And I'm going to edit myself because I want to add myself into. So under roles and permissions, I'm going to add myself into this new account that we have. So this is called new account. And I'm going to save. So now that I've done that, when I come back into this new account, and I hope you don't call your account a new account, but what you'll notice is now you are an actual user within that account. So now that we've gone ahead and done that, the first thing that we're going to actually touch on is the business settings. Okay, so why is this important? When we go into settings, business profile up here, this is important mostly for things like invoicing, contracts, some automated emails that go out. It's going to pull some of this information. Specifically on an invoice, it's going to pull your physical address. You can change it within the invoice settings, but it's just better to put this how you want it to look on things that go out, things like receipts, things like invoices. Same thing for your logo. If you leave this empty, it's just going to not put your logo on some automated emails from contracts, from invoices, as well as in your invoices, the physical invoices that you actually send out to. So I would definitely recommend putting in your logo. Make sure to put it in using the pixels recommended, also with a transparent background. Friendly business name, this is going to show up in a few different places, but what's going to be more important here is your legal business name. Okay, so when you put in your legal business name, if you are a registered business, you're going to want to put your legal business name exactly as it's written inside your legal business documentation. The reason I say that is if you ever want to register for a phone number and you're based in the US, for example, or if you're based in Canada and you want to send text messages within the US, you have to register with A2P. What they'll do is they'll actually go ahead and check the information here to make sure that it matches exactly as it does on your EIN or BN documentation if you're in Canada, and it will make sure that it matches exactly. So what you want to do is pull up your EIN documentation or equivalent wherever you registered your business and write in your legal business name exactly as it's placed there, you're going to want to have a business email that uses your website domain. So let's go from the start here. If my business name is in media, this is my legal business name here. Business email, you're going to want to make sure that it uses your actual business domain. So if you don't have a business email set up right now, I would definitely go ahead and do that, because it's going to help you a lot more in the long term, especially if you do want to go ahead and register for a phone number. Branded domain, I'm going to skip for now. Business website, this is also going to be ideally the same as your business email. So then you have your business website with your business email, and these two pair. This is going to be important mainly for registering through A2P. Okay, so then you can come down into business information and you can select your business type. So if you're LLC or sole prop or corporation, go ahead and select which one applies to you. You can then pick your industry. So if we are in the education. So if you're some sort of coach, consultant, it's probably going to be education. Business registration type. Okay, so this is going to depend, like I said, on the country that you're in. So if for most people, if you're US, it's going to be your EIN number, the number that you registered with when you registered your business. So then you're going to put your EIN number. Now, an EIN number is typically something like number dash number. It's something like this. This is what it will look like. That's where you're going to want to go ahead and put it. You will then put where you operate, and you'll update your business information. Same thing for your address. Okay, so typically when you've registered your business and you have that legal documentation, your address, as shown on that legal documentation, is normally in all caps. So if my address is 123 New York, it will typically look something like this. The city would also be in capitals. This is just typically how it shows on that documentation. The state, province, region is going to be a drop down anyway, so you don't need to worry. Same thing with the country, that's a drop down, so you don't need to worry about the formatting as much there. The main thing here is that we want this to match as it does our legal documentation. And if you don't have it yet, don't worry about it. It's not a big issue until you actually want to start registering for a phone number. Authorized representative as well. This is going to be yourself. If you're the one who registered your business, just put yourself in here along with your job position. So are you CEO, as well as your phone number, and then go ahead and update your information. So that's going to be really the main things of what we need to do in our business profile and why they're important. The next bit we can actually move on to then is going to be adding your team members. So I showed you quickly how to add yourself into this account, but it's a little bit easier to actually add other people, especially if you're not the agency owner and you just have this sub account here. If you want to go ahead and add people into your account, you're going to want to go firstly into settings, then my staff, then you're going to add user. So when you go ahead and add a user, all you need to do is put in their first name. So let's just pretend this is John Smith that we're adding into our account. We're going to put John's email in here. Let's just say it's john@gmail.com. You don't have to put their phone. You can leave this blank. But where this is going to get a little bit more important, depending on who you're actually bringing into your system, is going to be down when we click next under roles and permissions. Is this person an admin, or are they just going to be a user? Those are going to be the two options here. The reason this matters is because if you select someone as an admin, it means they have full visual control and editing control of your business information. They can see your business profile. They can see your billing, for example. If you make them a user, though, a lot of what they can see is restricted. So they cannot see your business information. They can edit your business information. They can't see your billing and things like that. They're just there to perform certain tasks. So this is going to be more like a partner, admin, or just someone who's here to do some work, whether it's a VA, whether it's someone who's just working for you on something, that would be a user. You can also define more what specifically they can view within your account by going down into these permissions and toggling these on and off. So once you've gone ahead and you've added and kind of configured the roles and permissions, you can go ahead and save this. Just by saving this automatically kicks out an email to this person. So john@gmail.com will get an email prompting him to go ahead and create a password. Then they'll have access. So once you create them, you don't need to worry about, how do they get access? They will automatically get an email. What's really nice about this too is once you go ahead and save and the user's being created, you can also go ahead and verify their email. So if they're like, I didn't see that email address, can you send it again? You can actually click verification email again. That will go ahead and kick them off another email. Okay, so that's going to be adding people into your account. The next thing is going to be connecting a domain. Okay, so this is important for an obvious reason. If you ever want to have a live website, a live funnel on your account, you're going to have to connect your domain at some point. Where this gets really important is, do you currently have an existing website that sits somewhere else that uses your main domain? Or are you going to be using your main domain to build a website within GoHighLevel? The reason this matters is because if you currently have a domain, let's say your domain is example.com. If you currently use example.com for your website on a different hosting software, whether it's like WordPress, Wix, Squarespace, you cannot use that domain within here because it's going to cause kind of issues with the DNS settings. So you would have to add what is called a subdomain instead. A subdomain is a word, a dot, then your domain.com. If you plan on housing all of your kind of websites, funnels, and it's not going to sit anywhere else, then you don't have to worry about this. You can add your main domain here. Where we go to actually add the domain though is again going to be in the bottom left under settings. Then we're going to go into domains and URL redirects. Then you can either actually purchase a domain from GoHighLevel, but if you want my honest opinion, I would probably be more inclined just to connect your own. It gives you more variability if you ever do leave GoHighLevel, or if you do decide to kind of move it. It's a lot easier to do that unless if you don't go with GoHighLevel, but you have an actual domain provider. For example, GoDaddy, Namecheap, Cloudflare are all solid domain providers. When you click connect the domain, it's going to give you a few options. What we want to do right now is connect a funnel, website store, blog, webinar domain. So I'm going to click connect here. Then what you're going to do is you're going to type out the domain that you want to connect. So my main domain here is inmotionmedia.com. If I then go ahead and click continue, I can then click continue again. We want to leave this toggle on because we also want to add the www.inmotionmedia.com domain as well as the one without. I would then go ahead and click continue. Since I'm using GoDaddy, and there's a few domain providers that do this automatically, so GoDaddy, Namecheap, Cloudflare are just a few that I know do this automatically, where as long as you're logged into your domain provider, it will actually let you go through these steps really easily. All you have to do is log into your domain provider. It will actually add the correct DNS settings. So I already currently use this domain. So what I can do instead, so this would be what you would add. You would add your domain. Obviously, you wouldn't add our domain. You would add your domain here if you knew you were going to build your website within GoHighLevel. If you have your domain used elsewhere for your website, what you would do instead is create a subdomain. So a subdomain, like I said, is going to be a word, a dot, and then your domain. So for example, a word is go, then I could put dot inmotionmedia.com. I'm pretty sure I've already used this somewhere else. So I'm going to actually just call this word to make this really easy. It's going to be literally any word you want, a dot, and then your domain here. Then when you click continue, you'll see this. I'll actually go through this process here. A subdomain is going to be a little bit different. It's going to add one DNS record as opposed to your root domain being just the main part of your domain. It's going to add two DNS records to your domain provider. So if I click continue here, what it's going to do, it's going to go ahead and try and find my domain provider details. So it's going to pop up in a minute and say, oh, you're with GoDaddy. Perfect. Go ahead and authorize domain. So now when I go ahead and authorize my domain, it's just going to make me log in, or I don't think it's cached. Or it is cached. So it's going to actually, no, okay, it's going to actually make me log in. So then I'm going to go ahead and log in. It's literally just going to ask you to connect and then close. That's how easy it is to connect the domain with GoDaddy, Namecheap, Cloudflare. Now I'm going to show you quickly, if you do not have one of those domain providers, I'm going to show you how you can actually go ahead and add your domain as well. Because it's going to be important too, if you don't have one of those domain providers that kind of can do it automatically, how you actually go in and add these records. So while this is verifying here, this should take a few seconds. Perfect. As it goes through, it is then going to tell you where do you want to link that domain. Now, I don't have a funnel website built yet, so I can just proceed to finish, and I've connected my domain. So we're perfect. Now I'm going to show you how to do this. If, for example, you're not using one of those domain providers and we're going to have to add it manually, add the DNS records manually into your domain provider. So I'm going to delete this domain here, and I'm actually going to go ahead and log into GoDaddy. So what I am doing here is I am going to my products. So this is going to differ based on what domain provider you're actually using. But I'm going to go into my domains here, and I'm going to go find the domain that I'm using here. And I'm going to go ahead and click DNS. This gives me a list of my DNS records. So what you'll need to do if you're coming in here for adding your DNS records, depending on what domain provider you're in, there should be somewhere a button where you can add new record. So you found the domain that you're adding the record for. So I'm still going to be adding that subdomain, but it's still going to be the root domain that I'm adding it for. It's for this domain here. So I'm going to go ahead and click add new record. Under add new record, it's then going to give us a few different options. That's where I'm going to go back into GoHighLevel, and I'm going to actually find what records we need to put in here. So connect the domain. We're going to go through this again. Funnel, store, website, blog, webinar. Continue. Then you're going to type out your domain. Now I'm going to show you right now. If I click continue here, so this is going to be the main domain, and I'm going to click add record manually. It's going to give you the records that you need to add inside of your domain provider. Now, I obviously already have this domain connected, but what I'm going to do here is show you either way. When I click continue, this time I'm going to add record manually because I know it's not going to automate it. It's going to show you the two records that you need to add into your domain provider. So the first one is always just going to be a record with host at, and this is going to be the required value. So what you can do is copy the required value, go into your domain provider. The type here is going to be a record. Now, some domain providers don't specifically say type. They don't specifically say name. They don't specifically say value, but they typically follow this order. So even if it says something else, just assume that as you go through it, it's probably just going to go in order of the type, the name, and the required value. The name for this one, where we're pointing it to, is going to be the @ symbol, and then I'm going to paste the value. I would then click save on here to save this DNS record. I would then go ahead and add the second value here. So I'm going to copy this bit, which is sites.ludicrous.cloud. I know there's going to be www, and the record type is going to be CNAME. So I'd go back, I would add more records. I'm going to click from the drop down. This time it's going to be a CNAME with www, then the value is going to be sites.ludicrous.cloud. And I would then save these two records. Once you've saved these records, you can go ahead and verify your records, and then it's going to take you to that same screen where it wants you to connect your funnel, website, etc., which we haven't actually built yet. Now I'm going to show you this quickly for a subdomain as well, because it's just going to be one. So if I did want to do the, a different subdomain here, you know what, I'll just make it go.mydomain.com. Then click continue, then did add record manually. Like I said before, it's going to be one DNS record here. So what I would do here is copy the sites.ludicrous.cloud, then go into my DNS records. And instead of adding these two, what I would do is add new record. It's going to be a CNAME record. The name here for the record is going to be whatever word you used, and the value will always be sites.ludicrous.cloud for a subdomain from GoHighLevel, at least at the time of recording of this video. Then you would save this record, come back into GoHighLevel, and then verify your records. And that would add the domain here. So now that we've added a domain, so let me just go ahead and quickly reconnect the one that I had. So I used word. Okay, so now that we actually have a domain connected, we can now worry about the email dedicated domains. This is going to be really important for sending emails from the platform without using the GoHighLevel default sending domain. This is going to drastically help your deliverability from your emails that you send from GoHighLevel. So where we're going to go to do this is going to be under settings in the bottom left, then email services. Then under email services, this big pop-up's going to show up and it's going to say create your dedicated domain, and it's going to tell you why you want to go ahead and do that. You definitely want to go ahead and do that. If you do not create your dedicated domain, you're going to have a lot of issues going forward. So create dedicated domain. in this space here and a domain name, we're going to decide what is going to be our dedicated email domain. So if your domain, for example, mine is the one that I just showed you, inmotionmedia.com. What we want to do here is use a subdomain. Now you might be thinking, is this my email address? This is not going to be the email address that we use from. This is just the sending domain. It's like the server that's used to send emails from your platform. So for example, a good example of what you could do here is email dot. This is a subdomain, but it's going to be only used as my dedicated email domain, meaning that you don't want to use this as a funnel subdomain or any other type of subdomain. This is only going to be used for your emails. Now, I've already used email, and I think I've already used info as another good example. So something that you could also put here is LC. LC could also stand for lead connector, which is the sending, it's the third-party tool that GoHighLevel uses to actually go ahead and send emails, or the third-party tool that used to integrate different pieces of the platform. So you could put whatever you want, a word, dot, then your domain. And like I said before, this is not the address. It's just the sending domain. It's not an @ symbol here. It's just a dot. So then we're going to go ahead, add and verify domain. Then similarly to before, we can go ahead and click continue, because if I'm using GoDaddy, Namecheap, Cloudflare, one of those domain providers, it will actually allow me to connect all these DNS records up front manually, or automatically, I should say. If you don't have one of those domain providers, then you're going to have to add these records manually. So if you go ahead and click manual, it's going to show you all the different records that you're going to want to add inside your domain provider. Now, typically what I would say is before you actually go ahead and add these, just click verify records. This is going to take you to an extended list, because there's going to be one more record down here that we also want to add. This is the DMARC record that we also want to add into your domain provider. So then now what you want to do, this is a little bit tedious, but you want to add all of these records inside your domain provider. So similarly, when I went into my GoDaddy and added those records, what I would do now is I would go ahead and add these new records. So I'm going to go ahead and do this right now. I'm going to add a new record, and I'm going to go back to my GoHighLevel, and I'm going to copy these one by one. So here is the first one here, type txt. This is the host name. So I'm going to copy this, and this is the value. So then I'm going to go back into GoDaddy. I'm going to type txt as the type. The name, I just copied and pasted, and then I'm going to copy the value, paste it in here. I'm going to leave the TTL, so time to live, whatever it's set at in here. If it does make you pick one, just pick half an hour. Then I'm going to add more records, and I'm going to go ahead and add the second one. So the second one is also a txt record, but here's the host name. So I'm going to do txt, paste the host name, copy the value, go into value, copy the value, or paste the value, add more records. I'm going to leave TTL as is. Go to the next one. This one's a CNAME. So I'm going to go back into here, copy this. This is a CNAME, paste under name. So we're literally just doing this for all these records. And the only thing that will really change is the type and the name and the value. So just be sure that you're adding the correct type. So for these MX, it also gives you a priority. So keep that in mind too. So right now I'm doing host name. This is going to be an MX record. The host name is LC. This is the value. And here's the priority. So make sure you're putting these in the right field. Priority is 10. Now there are some domain providers which make you add MX records because they're email DNS records at a different place. So if you do not see it in your dropdown, scroll down a little bit. It should be somewhere in the list while you're adding domain or DNS records. You may need to reach out specifically to your domain provider to ask where to add MX records, but you should be able to do it somewhere. So I'm going to go ahead and add another MX record and do MX again, because that's the next one here. It's going to be LC again, and this time it's going to be this value. This is going to be LC, priority is 10 again, value is this. Then I'm going to add the last one, which is a TXT record. This is our DMARC record. So the type here is going to be TXT. DMARC record, copy and paste this bit. Then I can save all the records. This is then going to update. So depending on who you're with, it's going to maybe make you verify. So it's going to make me verify my records here. So it sent me a text. I'm going to have to input this text. And perfect, we've added these records. Now this may not happen instantly, okay, but typically it should be relatively quick. If you notice after 5 minutes that these aren't getting verified, there may be a problem. But what you can do now is click verify domain. See, they kind of start to come in, like this one's verified, this one's not, these ones are. Once you verified once, it kind of grays out. So then you go back to dedicated domains and you can click verify now again down here. So I'm literally just going to bounce back and forth between these begin to verify. So I'm going to go ahead and click verify domain in the bottom again. There we go. And it was 2 times. If it doesn't happen instantly, again, just move back and forth. Oh, so I'm still getting a yellow here. So let me verify again. We're waiting for a green. So it's saying all verified. I'm going to click verify domain again. Now it's given us green go ahead, which is perfect. So now we've connected our dedicated email domain. What you can do right now while you're in this position is you can actually create a dedicated header or a default header. What this means is if you know what email address and what from name you want to use for pretty much all the emails that go out from the system, you can actually set this up ahead of time. What this enables you to do is instead of every time you send an email, whether it's through an automation, whether it's through a marketing campaign, and you'd have to input what email you want to send that email from, you can actually override it all right now and click the 3 dots here, set headers, and you can decide right now what from name and what from email you want to use from the system. So if I want my from name to be my name and maybe the name of my business, then my from email, maybe I want it to be this here. I can put my email here. Now, what's going to be really, really important, okay, this is the big caveat to this, is you want your from email to use the same domain as your dedicated email domain. Now, I get that I put lc dot, so I use the subdomain here. That's okay, as long as the root domain matches the root domain of the subdomain that you added. So inmotionmedia.com matches inmotionmedia.com. This is going to be the perfect setup to optimize landing in people's inboxes, brand recognition. These two you want to match, okay? So now that we've done this, we have now set up our dedicated email domain and we can now send emails from the platform and it's going to show up as this here. The next piece that I'm going to talk about right now is going to be connecting your calendars. So before you go in and start creating all these different calendars where people can go ahead and book calls with you, it's going to be really important that you connect your calendars. When you connect your calendars, that's going to enable you to block off the time that you don't want to be available directly inside your calendars. So if I go back to our main screen here, I'm going to go into settings again in the bottom left, then my profile. Then from my profile, I'm going to come down to calendar settings and I can go ahead and add a new calendar here. So if I click add new, I can then connect either Google Calendar, Outlook Calendar, iCloud Calendar, and right now you can also connect a Calendly calendar to, copy conflicts from all these different types of calendars. Now, if you're still using Calendly, I highly suggest you just use the calendars within GoHighLevel because it will do the exact same thing. You just build the calendars within here. So I wouldn't suggest using Calendly at the same time as using GoHighLevel, but most people are going to be connecting either a Google Calendar or an Outlook calendar. So if I wanted to right now connect my Outlook calendar, and it works the exact same way for Google, is you would click connect, and then it's going to just prompt you to log in. So when it prompts you to log in, it's going to say, which account do you want to connect to your calendar from? So my Outlook account, I'm just going to select it here. You may or may not be able to see my screen right now, but it's basically just taking me to the Outlook login page just to say login, and then it's going to take me back into, okay, it's going to make me log in here. So once it's made me logged in, I may have to go ahead and click connect again now that it's kind of recognized that I've logged in. So I'm going to go ahead, go through that process again, and then it should connect quickly this time. There we go. So it's going to start connecting. Okay, so once you've linked to your calendar, what you'll notice is that your calendar will show up under linked calendar and conflict calendar. So the difference between these two is the linked calendar. Firstly, you can only have one calendar connected as your linked calendar. This is going to be the calendar that when someone books a call with you within any of the calendars that you have within GoHighLevel, it is going to show up in this calendar that you have connected. The conflict calendars are going to be calendars that you want to tell the system, check this time on all these different calendars before you allow someone to book that time within the system. So then your calendars on GoHighLevel will block off time based on what calendars you've added here under the conflict calendars system. So just to add to this, you can add multiple calendars. So you could add another Outlook, you could add another Google, and you could actually go ahead and add them all under your conflict calendars. You can also edit these to define which categories within your calendars actually are checked to block off time within your calendar. But that's the main difference. This one is going to be where those appointments actually show up. When someone books with you in GoHighLevel, it's going to show up in here. The conflict calendars are going to be the calendars that we're just telling the system, block this time off if it shows up in any of these calendars. So that's going to be the actual calendar piece. So the next bit, while we're actually in my profile, I'm going to take you up a little bit to email two-way sync. So why is email two-way sync important? The way email two-way sync works is, let's say you send an email from the platform. So we've already gone ahead and created our dedicated email domain, but let's say you go ahead and send an email from the platform and someone responds to that email. If you have email two-way sync set up and you're sending emails from the platform using the same email that you create as email two-way sync, when someone responds, it's going to show up in your conversations within GoHighLevel, but it's also going to show up into your inbox, whether it's a G Suite or a business Outlook. So if you skip to the part of the video where I created a dedicated email domain, I created a dedicated email domain using my inmotionmedia.com domain, and then I set up a default email header to use the email address isaac@inmotionmedia.com. So ideally, when you're then going ahead and connecting email to a sync, you actually own that email address. Okay, there's this kind of common misconception that you can really create an email address and GoHighLevel. Technically, yes, you can, but it's going to benefit you a lot more if you actually own that email address. So whether you own it through G Suite or Business Outlook, that's going to be the way to go to actually purchase that email and then link it here. Then you can set up your email two-way sync. Okay, so when I set up email two-way sync, I'm going to select my provider. So I'm using Outlook for my business email. I would select Outlook, connect, and then same thing for what we did with the calendar. It's just going to prompt you to go ahead and pick your account that you want to connect this two-way sync. So like I said before, you want this to be the same email that you set up as your dedicated header for the dedicated email domain. And now we have that connected. So that's going to be the next piece. Okay, so the final thing we're going to look at, which is going to be probably the least important right now, but important in the future, is going to be connecting a payment gateway. So when you have everything set up and you're ready to start selling your programs, your coaching, your consulting, whatever it is, you want to have a payment gateway set up within the system. This enables you to invoice, to do order forms, to send payment links directly from the system without having to worry about going into Stripe, going into PayPal, whatever it is you want to use. You can do it all from the system. So where we actually go to create or to integrate our payment gateways is going to be under Settings, then Integrations, then under Stripe. Now, it doesn't matter if you are going to be using Stripe or not. You're still going to go under Stripe and click Continue. Now, at the time of this recording, this is where we can go to connect our payment gateway. If you don't see it there, you can also find it under Payments on the main dashboard. So Payments, then Integrations on the right. Then you can go ahead and connect whichever payment gateway you would like to use. The most common, the one I would recommend, is Stripe. It is the easiest and it has the most capabilities within the platform itself. You can also use PayPal, Authorize.net, NMI, Square is also a popular one. But they all typically work the same way. So for Stripe, for example, when you click connect, all it's going to do, same way we've connected our email, same way we've connected our calendar, is it's just going to prompt you to log in. So you'd click connect with Stripe and it's going to prompt you to actually log in to your Stripe account, and then it will enable that connection. You'll know that your Stripe is connected when next to that payment gateway, it's going to say manage. So once you see that it says manage here instead of connect, you have then connected your payment gateway. PayPal is a little bit harder because you actually have to get your API key. It's like access key and ID key. Now, there are different documentation online on where to find that, but when you do go ahead and click connect with PayPal, it is going to ask you for your client ID and secret ID. Just go ahead. There's tons of documentation on PayPal on where to find these things, but then you'd be able to add these for your Live and also Sandbox. Live is going to be for live payments. Sandbox is going to be for test payments. and then you can go ahead and save these. So once you've then added a payment gateway, you can now actually take payments directly into the system, which is going to be massive. And then you're basically ready. Okay, so if you did find this video helpful, please feel free to subscribe for future content and also like the video. It really, really helps me out. Also, if you do find these videos really helpful and you would benefit from, being in a community, hopping on calls, or even just having systems built out for you, feel free to book a call with me down below. Even if you're just looking to connect, you're looking to share ideas, I'm always happy to talk with people. So go ahead, book a call below if you want to connect. And I really hope you found the video helpful, and good luck moving forward with your systems.